Hello to all 12 of my subscribers, my day one peeps. Thank you. Much love, much love. Welcome back to the Meteorite Woman channel. I am Jennifer, and I am the woman who believes that disasters on Earth are caused by meteors. I know it sounds crazy. And, well, let's just hit it. I'm going to mix it up a little. Today we're going to do a volcano. This is footage from the White Island disaster from 1999. We were a group of tourists who were visiting an active volcano. Probably not the safest thing to do, but people had been doing it for years without an issue. So there was unfortunately an undeserved sense of safety. They didn't even know that it had erupted. Like, they just didn't know what hit them, literally, because I believe it was a piece of a comet. So let's get into it. We're playing at 25% playback speed. This isn't the greatest footage because it was shot from inside a boat through a window. Look, we see this kind of little bubble of gas here. I think that's from the laying down of this. Because if you take a look, everything is now covered in ash. This thing has belched up something, according to scientists, and belched up a bunch of, I guess, rocks and steam. So we're looking at the steam, but this steam is really bright. It could be sunshine, but, this here is perfectly black. It looks like fresh laid asphalt. It's like so perfectly black. There's none of this on it. I think it's carbon. It's like coal, right? It's kind of similar surface. I think carbon was just deposited right here from the comet. I think you're looking at the actual trajectory of this. I think it was probably vaporized when it went through our atmosphere, and now it's finally solidified on top of whatever was here before. It's like a fresh coat of paint. I mean, it's just so black. And look, you see all this like black mist, still aerosol, like it's gonna let up a little fart right here. That's brand new. Look how black that is. If we back it up, you can see it's still a mist in the air. You can see a vaporized carbon mist is what I'm calling this. Now, I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what I'm calling it. Now, I believe this stuff was just laid down. We didn't see any lava erupt. There was no lava coming out. They even called it a steam eruption. Steam burns don't blacken things. Blackened stuff is burned by fire, not steam. Anyone who cooks knows that. Anyone who cooks. Here's a picture from the Daily Mail showing the helicopter that was on the island at the time of the eruption, alleged eruption. And notice the blades are folded down. If it was an eruption from underneath the ground, why would these be folded down? So this is from the Global Volcanism Program, and these are observations of the volcano at different times. This isn't from that eruption, but I looked through their website and through several of their bulletins, and I wanted to bring out a few interesting pictures and things that support everything I'm saying. Like this. This does not, to me, look like magma extrusion. This looks like something that fell out of the sky and landed here. This is the embankment created by that impact, and it's off-gassing. This is, again, this is a nice solid chunk that made it through. Let's take a look. This is Comet Rosetta. And I mean, I'm not saying this is the parent comet. I'm just saying, look at the family resemblance. Yeah, I could definitely see that originating from a comet. What do you think? Especially, again, it's like burned by fire. It's all like charred, and that steam doesn't do that. And right here we see an incoming bolide. Does that look like it's coming out of the volcano, or does it look like it's falling down? I mean, that's the trailing edge leading backwards, right? This is photographic evidence of an impact. And notice there's a little kind of protective, you see that little, there's like a layer around it. It's the shock wave. And look at all the light coming up from behind. Now this is a dark photograph, so we know that's not the sunshine. We know that for a fact. That's light being generated by an impact, not just by the bolide, way up here too. There's way more going on than just a rock hitting the ground. These are complex chemical reactions occurring in midair. Crazy as it sounds, it also makes sense, doesn't it? I know it does. And that's the scariest part about all this. I know. I'm going to walk you through it. It's not so bad. I've been dealing with it by myself for a year now, so be not afraid. If I can handle it, you can too. It's better to know the truth than to walk around ignorant, because maybe we can, with information, we're human beings. We don't even understand our own power yet, I don't think. But this is where enlightenment comes from. And I believe, okay, this is where Da Vinci Code stuff comes in, because I think this is what is meant by halo. When you see religious iconography, paintings and things, I think the halo is symbolic for the fact that this person was not actually alive in the sense that we are, but that it was a space rock. Have I gone too far? Did it trip anybody out? I hope not. You probably shouldn't say too much yet. But I've been studying all this now for over a year. So it's really, it's just bursting out of me. I'm sorry. So it's going to come out in drips and drabs in each video that I do. That's just how we got to do it, because it's so complex. There's no way I can make one video or even short videos without delving into some of this. Every scientific theory that we have became outdated in 1970 when we realized that thing in Arizona that was considered a volcanic steam vent. When we came back from the moon, saw some pictures and realized, hey, yeah, that thing in Arizona is the crater. That was the first one on Earth. 1970, okay? Even plate tectonic theory, which was brand new right then, and the crowning achievement of the 20th century, it was made obsolete by that realization. But nobody picked up on that at the time, and no one has since, which is frightening. That's why we can't predict anything, because we're looking down. This was just a tiny little impact right here in 2013. Just a little bolide. Off-gassing right there. Little bolide, but notice the big impact. Oh, yeah, I want to show you that too. Yeah, this one. This is an impact. This is from the 70s. This is from an impact. It's a tiny little, look, here's the part that impacted. This is comet material. This is another view of the same thing we just looked at. It's like taken further back. This is just the impacting material here. This side was created in that impact as well. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm working on a video about my bow tie theory. that basically says impact craters don't really happen like in nice circles on Earth very often, because the process of impact is so complicated by our atmosphere that it forms more complex shapes. And a very common shape is the bow tie. It's like a figure 8. And they do a nice little drawing of it right here. They call them 2 separate craters, but these were both made in the same impact. They both showed up at the same time. This is where the material landed, and this is what was cleared out by the shockwave. Very simple. Screenshots I took of Google Earth. Where the circle is, the white circle, right to the left of that is the most recent carbonaceous deposit of comet material. And then, well, let me use this too, all over here, all where it's steaming. This is all off-gassing cometary material, as I said before. But you can see this nice dark black deposit that's laid over the older stuff here. Now we're going to go back in time. Compare that to this. This is the same exact location. Didn't move at all. I just changed year. This is August 2007. Go back again. See, this is new stuff that's laid down on top. It didn't come up as lava. There was no magmatic eruption. This came down from the sky and landed there. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And also, eventually, it will end up looking like this again, because as it off-gas, it is kind of like asphalt. As it off-gasses, watch. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Okay. Get it again. You see this curly line here? This zigzag here? It's starting to form here. All these gases will naturally, it'll off-gas, and they'll fill in all these crevices. And in time, it'll look like that again. But it will be, higher up. What does this remind you of? I'm not going to get into this today, but I just want you thinking about it. Well, a tree, yes, but also lightning. Doesn't it look like a bolt of lightning? Kyle Russell Allen's amazing photograph. Wow, look at that. That's beautiful. Of lightning. Wow, that is incredible. And let's go look back at our crap. I'm so overwhelmed by how beautiful that is. So yeah, doesn't this look like that? It looks just like it.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
That's the day after the deadly eruption happened. And this whole wall, as you see, gets destroyed. It gets pushed forward. And all this rock gets like softened or something. I think there's something happening right in this picture. So you're getting like a gaseous smear. Or maybe that's just a rock that's been softened by the impact. And then a couple days later, on the 12th, this is after the material has been deposited. So maybe gases came in first, and then material came in. Or maybe the energetic particles came in first because they're moving ahead of the rest of the body, because they move faster. Light moves faster than other matter, light particles, right? So that could make sense. People with way better smarts than me can take this ball and run with it, because I'm freeing them of the paradigm that these things are coming from under the ground, because they don't. Look at the light. Again, involvement of light, strange colors. Volcanic eruptions shouldn't create light. So here's, this is like the ground level view from inside, looking at the same spot, like as if we were standing right about here. And you can see that's how it looks now. And that's how it looked before. This was a hollow before. And material there. And notice the color, of course. New material deposited. Seems to be often black. This is new material deposited. That's different. Even though the shape is the exact same, and that kind of makes me a little suspicious of their imagery too. Also, check out this spot. So this is all the outside edge of the rim. And almost forward. So none of this came up from underneath the ground. It's closed. Seems like an Occam's razor thing to me now. Like, what makes more sense logically? Seriously, let's take a look at what the experts have to say. This is an article from phys.org about the Wakari White Island volcano. So let's just read a couple of sentences. What happened at Wakari? Before the December 2019 eruption, deep gas started to rise in Wakari's hydrothermal system. Okay, I have a problem right there. Where is the gas coming from? Are we to believe that there's a layer of gas in Earth's... Because hold on. Thanks to geography4u.com, he has this great little graphic here. I don't see a gaseous layer. There's no layer of gas in Earth, interior. So where did the gas rise from? See, so right there, there's a discrepancy in what we all believe to be true and what we're being told right here. And we don't notice it because we just trust what the expert is saying. We trust that the expert knows better than we do. And so we dismiss our own doubt as just our own stupidity. But this discrepancy, even though we don't notice it, it bugs us. It creates that cognitive dissonance. And that's a very uncomforting feeling. And so it's like you just want to, as soon as they start to talk, your eyes begin to glaze over. Okay, so there's the problem with the first sentence. I'm going to point out these problems that we normally just don't even notice. This put pressure onto the groundwater, keeping it in a liquid state. Okay, wait, let's just chop this up. Deep gas that started to rise from who knows where put pressure on the groundwater. Why would it do that? Water would just move. Water will find somewhere else to go. It always does. It's not going to be trapped there unless it's like a perfectly compact seal that it can't escape from. Then yeah, okay, pressure could build. Otherwise, that's impossible. What they are saying is not possible. Next part of the sentence. Keeping it in a liquid state even as it became superheated. Again, I call bullshit. It's groundwater, so it's water. Water that is superheated becomes a gas. It doesn't stay a liquid. So, bullshit! Shall we continue? Or can I just say this is debunked? Well, let's just be fair, right? Geysers and fountains. Okay, pressure and tremor would build over about 24 hours before discharging explosively at the bottom of the crater lake. What was at the bottom of the crater lake that stopped it? How I don't understand where it was plugged, what was plugging it. I know that's what they're indicating, but they still haven't provided a mechanism for it being plugged. This resulted in geysers and fountains throwing mud and debris up to the height of a 10-story building. A 10-story building. That is some serious pressure. Why would pressure like that? How could the bottom of a lake allow such a pressure to build? They say these bursts were safety valves using the pressure. Oh, maybe we'll get the explanation now. At the beginning of December, the gas burst stopped and the surface became quiet. Rather than being a cause for relief, we think this indicated a new and much more dangerous phase. A seal had formed, trapping the gas. What formed a seal? They didn't tell us anything, but we're just supposed to imagine how a seal formed. Can you? I can't. Between 9 p.m. and midnight, there was a strong burst of seismic energy. Strong burst of meteoric energy. This was likely fresh magmatic fluid arriving to ramp up the pressure on gas and water already trapped in the rock. Time out. Where do I begin? Water already trapped in the rock. How is it trapped? Water always has somewhere else to go. Water will find the tiniest little hole. Especially water under pressure. And we're supposed to imagine that this is just like a sealed system. It's completely closed in this. It's like, okay, what they're describing is basically a pressure cooker. But a pressure cooker doesn't cook itself. Like, you have to put energy into it to make it work, to make the pressure build and to make the heat build. And their equation is missing the energy input. They want to claim that it's coming from deep within the earth, where all this gas is supposed to be coming from. The rest of the sentence. This was likely fresh magmatic fluid. Now, correct me, didn't they call it a steam eruption? Now they want to introduce magma. And the fresh magmatic fluid ramping up the pressure on the gas and water already trapped in the rock. How could magma ramp up any more pressure on gas? And I can't wrap my mind around that. I cannot create a mental image of what they are describing. Can you? But I can totally create a mental image of what I described. That's very easy to picture happening. It also began the process of explosive release because it caused small cracks to form in the seal, disgorging the massive steam explosion. There they go again, steam explosion. But so they're saying there was magma there, but they're trying to explain why we didn't see it, because just steam came out. We can't be in that great denial anymore, because we know that these things are happening now. We are aware of our vulnerability to these things. Mother Earth is much more benign than we give her credit for. She's not doing these things to us. It's the gods, the sky gods, the Anunnaki. That's who they were talking about. They weren't people. They were these things. They control our fates. They control our weather. They control our lives. They can destroy us. They can enrich us. They fertilize our earth. They created the seasons. They created the axial tilt in earth that made our seasons. They created the conditions to make life possible on earth by off-gassing the constituents of our atmosphere. These are our gods, like it or not. We chop them up and sell them on eBay. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, though, because I have to get to the science part first before I can tackle the funner stuff. Now, what do you think? I've already started this uncomfortable conversation. Come on now, people. Give me some feedback here. For over a year now, I have been trying to prove all of this stuff wrong to myself so that I could forget about it and move forward with my other life plans. And the more time I spend trying to disprove these crazy ideas, the more evidence I find in support of them. And it's so much now that I just have to put this out there for everyone else. So I would really love to hear some feedback on what other people are thinking because I know these are very foreign, new ideas, and they're in sharp contrast with things that we have believed all of our lives, things that we thought we knew, which may actually, not be true. And the fact that I'm just a layperson and not a paid scientist makes it even, a little weirder. I get that. But maybe it was a beginner's mind that needed to make this breakthrough. So, let's talk. Come on, people. Tell me what you think. And thank you so much for joining me.